Welcome back to the I Want to Save Money YouTube channel. My budget planner is finally set up for 2026. I did go ahead and change the front cover. I basically just took what I had and flipped it over, but then I couldn't do the same on the back because there's writing. So now it's mismatched. So I don't know. I would like to get a different cover, but that's just not a priority. So basically the front section of my planner before I go into the months is just kind of a general overview of various plans of how I want to handle certain things. So I'm going to be working on a lot of notes for my debt payoff plan. I'm going to be working on a lot of notes for my savings plan. I'm going to be changing the savings auto transfer starting in January. I'm probably going to increase that amount again in July or August. So all of those notations are at the front of my planner. They're for me to reference as I'm doing my monthly spreads and my paycheck budgets. I will start, by the way, doing paycheck budgets again on the channel at some point, but I like to use real numbers. So if there's anything I don't want to share with the public, I will just skip that paycheck. Now, I'm not going to show you everything in this front section because some of it is stuff that I also don't want to share with the public, but I'm just going to show you how I've broken down a couple of things. So first thing I did was go through and look at my income versus my monthly basics. So as you can see, I have a monthly income of, this is my net, of $3,518, basic, minimum expenses of $2,777, and a remaining balance of $741. Now, all of this is not fun money. This needs to go to other things, but these are all the basics I need to, to survive at a minimal level. So $1,346 is my current rent. That includes rent and a couple of other things that are automatically thrown into my rent as opposed to paying it separately. The only thing I pay separate is my power bill. However, my lease is up March 2nd or 3rd, so I'm kind of waiting on pins and needles. I probably won't find out till the first week of January whether I'm being offered chances to renew and what those offers look like. Last time, my rent amount only increased by $50. And I've been looking at the other apartments and the rent there, so I don't think I'm going to see a massive increase, but just something to kind of keep an eye on. Power bill, I put $85. Most months I can keep my power bill between $55 and $60, sometimes less. The highest it's been has been $100, and that was, I think, last January, but that was last January. It was extremely cold. So I really don't feel like I was overusing power. I just was keeping the heat on to the level that I needed to survive. So I feel like $85 for most months is a pretty fair average. Phone bill is currently $15 a month. That is going to change. So I had my phone break about a month ago now, and it was a really inconvenient time. I didn't have money to replace a phone, just really had $100. So I got a replacement phone, and it's so crappy that it cannot handle a data plan. So I would have a higher plan, but there's no point because of the phone that I have. So once I do replace that phone that I didn't want to begin with, my phone plan will go up. I don't mind it for now, and I don't have money to throw on a new phone anyways, but I really don't want that to be a long-term thing. When I first got the phone, I was like, okay, I'll just suck it up with this for a while, but not having data, I kind of worry about not being able to use navigation and things like that when I really need to. So I do consider that to be more of a safety concern than anything else. Next up is internet. That is $70 a month. Car note is $566 a month. And the thing with the car note is I really should have compared more the day I got the vehicle. But anyways, I was in a desperate situation and I was kind of just out of time. So it was a bit of a rash decision. I really think $480 should have been my absolute maximum for a monthly car note payment. But anyways, as I get kind of ahead of bills going forward, in addition to the $566 a month, I also want to be calling and making additional payments towards the principal of the loan. So $566 is the minimum I owe, but I'd really like to prioritize paying this off early. The insurance for my Nissan is $340. Believe it or not, that's actually, as of several months ago, the cheapest rate I could find. So I went without insurance for a little while because I didn't have a car, and then I was using a borrowed car. Then I was in a fatal accident where I was hit by somebody else. That made my rates jump again. Then I got the settlement, and that made my rates jump again. So because of those three things happening in such quick succession, it actually is hard for me to find a monthly rate that is lower than that. Last time I looked around, I was paying $380. I found a car insurance company that offered me $20 a month less, so I thought about taking it, chose not to, and then the insurance I was with lowered me by $40 instead of $20. It has been a while since I looked, so I guess I'm kind of at that point where it would probably be a good thing for me to go ahead and see what other rates are out there. I may still be able to find something cheaper, but also the purpose of getting ahead on your bills so that you're not constantly just living paycheck to paycheck and never being ahead on anything is it would save me money regardless to be able to pay 6 months at a time. And I'm just not able to do that. So with insurance, that's definitely my next goal, whether I stay with my current insurance company or not. Fuel, I put $160 for the monthly minimum, just because if I truly go just to work and back and the basic errands that are on my way to and from work, then I can easily keep fuel under like probably 110. That's not difficult for me at all. My work is 10 minutes away from me. But I wanted to give myself a little extra fuel just for other things. There may be things that come up. I drive farther than I need to. I unexpectedly need to drive to my parents' house or somebody else's house or something else I just need to take care of. So I wanted to give myself a little bit more leeway when it came to assessing my monthly basics. Grocery bill, I would really prefer to be in the $150 range for an entire month. I've been switching from eating out all the time to eating mostly at home. I'm only gonna eat at home every single day out of a month if I'm really desperate. I think it's okay to eat out once in a while if you can do it. But if I have to, I feel like the bare minimum I can go down to for groceries is $100 a month. For personal care, I put $25, household, I put $25, and pets, I put $45. So $741. So I don't think this is a terrible list. Obviously, I want to see if I can get that down. Obviously, I'll keep these down when I can. Some months I'm not going to need these depending on how quickly I go through things. $741 is really not that bad in terms of what I'm left over with, but there's quite a bit that needs to be broken down from that number. So when you take all that into account, I would have really been in a better spot if I had more money remaining after all of this. I am up for a raise in March, so we'll see how that goes. That would make a difference for me though, so I'm really hoping that they come through on that. All right, purchase planning guide. So I'm not going to go through everything on this list, but I'm just going to kind of explain how I came up with this and how I broke this down. And this is an ever-growing list. So anytime I think of something that I need, that I want, that's upcoming, that I need to remember, I will go ahead and add it to the list. I'll put it in the need or want category, the maximum I'm willing to spend on it or have to spend on it, and a rating in terms of the urgency. So first up is the new phone. I consider that a need just because of the not having data thing. That's really not that big of a problem if I'm close to home, close to work, whatever. But I just really don't feel comfortable not having any data anytime I'm going farther out. Willing to spend up to $400 on it. 5 out of 5 rating, but because of my current financial situation, it's probably going to be late February to early March before I can even think about taking care of this, unfortunately. Photo printer. So I am kind of getting back into scrapbooking and memory journaling. I've also wanted to kind of just start pasting pictures into my planners since I'm back into planning now. So instead of constantly having to send images to purchase through Google Photos or through Walgreens, I would really prefer to have a decent Bluetooth connected printer that I can print my photos right at home. That would just really be more convenient to me, but it's definitely a want and not a need. I put it 4 out of 5 because of the wants. It is something I'm prioritizing a little bit more. And 200 is probably the maximum I'm willing to spend on that. Work pants, I put as a need. I need 3 pair. Willing to spend up to 75 for all 3 out of 5. Basically, with my pants, I'm starting to notice just a little bit of wear and tear on them. I do think they'll last me a few more months, so it's probably going to be early spring before I will need those. These needs, I think you could kind of argue whether or not they're actual needs. So the cabinet under the TV, that's just really more for convenience. So this one could probably be a want. The cabinet under the kitchen table, that one would be more of a need because I really do need some more cookware and I just don't have a place to store them. So this is about solving a problem that utilizes so I think this belongs in the need category because it involves solving a problem that I need to solve in order to be able to use my kitchen effectively. And if I'm going to be cooking at home all the time or most of the time, then I need these things accessible to me. Having said all that, the vacuum cleaner could probably be under need instead of want because keeping your home clean does matter and I'm really trying to improve in that area. I just have bad habits in general when it comes to cleaning and I'm trying to take that more seriously. So the vacuum cleaner I have it's not awful, but it really does not pick up very much. So it's just not what I want out of a vacuum cleaner. Then the only other needs I have are a big pot for the kitchen. I want a medium frying pan, but that one I don't need as much based on what I'm cooking these days. So that can kind of be put off a little bit. Water filter pitcher. In addition to cooking at home, I'm trying to drink better as well. So I'm drinking a lot of water, but it's all tap water. And I just, you don't know what's in there. And I just don't really feel right about that. And that's something that's pretty affordable. So I can go and get that pretty quickly. And then the last needs I currently have listed are updated shots for Riley and Zora. That's not something I should put off regardless, but because the apartment would need that updated information, I don't really have a choice there. So this is my current list. I already have a list of about 5 or 6 wants and maybe another good 8 needs. But those are all items that can be put off. The only reason they're not on here less is because they're kind of personal, but these are the first 2 pages that are in my opening section, just to kind of have these reminders of where I'm at, what I'm working on, what purchases I need to plan for in advance. That's the guide that I'm going to reference every single time I sit down and do a paycheck budget, so I can make sure, okay, is there something I can take care of with this paycheck that I've been meaning to? Is there something coming up? All of that kind of stuff. I may post some updated information about my credit card plan. As far as debt payoff and savings, I'm kind of fine-tuning a few things, and I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with certain areas. So right now, those pages are kind of a mess, and I'm just kind of brain dumping. But you guys will be seeing a lot more of this 2026 budget planner that I'm using. I'm happy to be paper planning again, but I'm really happy to have that I still had this Happy Planner around. I was about to get rid of it, and I'm glad I found a use for it. I love using Happy Planner, and I'm so glad that I got to repurpose something. And we are only a few months away from my December recap, which is crazy. So the end of the year is definitely very close. So I'm just really day by day trying to make sure that I get in here and work on that front section. Anything I want to set up or think about or plan, anything that's going to set me up for success in 2026. I really want to put in the front section of this planner. So that is what I'll be working on, and I will see y'all in the next video.